Just a few weeks ago, we talked about how Jacob Kamau was essentially robbed of the world record when a lead vehicle controversy prevented his Barcelona half marathon from being ratified. Well, he just answered that in the best way possible. He went back to Lisbon and ran the world record, and he did it without pacemakers. But while Kamau was rewriting record books, the LA Marathon was rewriting rule books. Thousands of runners were given the option to stop and receive a medal because it was hot. And the elite race, well, that ended in a 0.01 second finish after another lead convoy mistake that sent the front runner briefly off course. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to the I Don't Know Running podcast, where we share our experiences that make running fun and sometimes not so fun. I'm one of your hosts, Lewis, and I cannot wait for this episode.
Yeah, and I'm Mitch. And from solo world records to race day chaos. Today we're breaking down possibly the most bizarre weekend in distance running that we've seen lately, and we've seen a few.
We have seen a few. Okay, I have to, number one, I have to rein it in because when I saw one of the topics we're going to talk about, I was
baiting him earlier, so we had to stop because we wanted more natural reactions, and Lewis is fired up.
I'm stirred up all week.
So we're playing opposites.
Yeah, I have been stirred up all week about some of this.
I think he feels the same way about this as I do about virtual racing.
No, we're close, but I am definitely more excited about this topic. Okay, number one, let's talk about Jacob Kamau because this is really cool. I think this is amazing. So basically, what happened is Kamau ran a historic time at Barcelona, but the World Athletics Association, what's that called? World Athletics. Is it just World Athletics? It used to be called something else.
Well, there's abbreviated version of it that we usually use.
Declined, but anyway, they declined to ratify it due to a technical race requirement and lead vehicle issues. We covered this a couple weeks ago.
Yep. So
the performance was incredible, but it didn't get to go down in the record book. So what did he do? And we actually talked about this too, man. We talked about it more so in the female race that got messed up. We were like, man, those athletes, they show up for that race.
For that day.
Everything ramps up to that race. So that one was a full, right? The female one?
No, that was a half.
That was a half also. Yeah. So anyway, man, they dial things in. Well, what did he do? Well, I guess this is later. This is a year and a half later.
Yeah.
He went to Lisbon and he ran a 57:20. So this, what we say that beat the record by 10.
By 10 seconds. And it's the same course that he actually had the world record before back in 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
And he held that for a few years and somebody broke it.
Until 2024 and somebody beat it by 1 second.
1 second.
So Ethiopia's, I can't pronounce this, maybe you can do better, but Yamif Kajelka, right?
But
1 second, that's a kick in the gut.
Yeah. But that is often what you see with
world records,
these kind of world records. Yeah. They're so fast. 1 second. Think about that though. Like I always think about, so if you're going to beat a marathon record by 1 sec or by 26 seconds, that's a second a mile, right? And when you're going that fast, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So think about 1 second.
1 second split up across 13
miles. That's pretty small.
Yeah.
But he beat it. Then he beat this by 10 seconds. So it is almost a second per mile faster. Amazing. So kudos to him. It is kind of neat that they say most modern world records are set with professional pacers who help control the speed, which kind of amazes me.
Well, they have people that just get in there and drop off, right?
Yeah.
Like it's nuts.
Yeah. You'll
see it once in a while where they, I'm winning anyway. I may as well finish the race.
Yeah. And they still can take like top 20 because they are fast. Like these pacemakers aren't slow. It's kind of cool. Kamau basically said, I'll just run the record myself. The turning point for him was at the 10K mark when he hit 27 minutes. That's when he realized the record was possible. Instead of backing off, he pushed the final 6 kilometers solo. Says, here's a quote. He says, "I'm so happy to break the world record," said Kamau. "After the first 10 kilometers, I thought the record was possible as long as I stayed off the back of the vehicles." No, he didn't say that.
He was yelling at him, "Let's stay out of my way."
He probably could have went faster, but he knew he had to stay back from the vehicles. Kind of cool. Kamau he's set to run London Marathon in April. And I guess it's a pretty stacked field.
Yeah, that is interesting. Because I was looking up some facts on that, and that was his marathon debut last year. He took second.
Oh.
And then he won Chicago after that. So it's a stacked field.
Yeah, pretty slow at Chicago at 2:02, right?
Yeah.
You said the time, and it's like, it's way off the record.
But there's a big difference. You think about that, to transition from a half to a full, and there's not that much time. That's in April. So,
oh yeah,
it's going to be exciting to watch.
This April.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's right around the corner.
It's not that far off.
I guess this would be a good tune-up. I mean, you figure we're
set a world record.
March. Boy, that is close.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Cool. That'll be exciting. It'll be really fun to cover that in a month and a half, and talk about the lead vehicles messing up there too. What else? What else could they possibly do?
Maybe we'll have another bizarre weekend, or they'll do it right.
I think I texted you when you said, you texted me and said, "Hey, this just happened." And I said, "Oh, and don't tell me they let him down the wrong way again," or something like that. And you said, "Well, I didn't read that." I said, no, I was kidding. So that's pretty cool. Congrats to Kamau. That is amazing. Way to go. Did it without any help, obviously, and obviously did not need the vehicles. We did look that up too. He ran 56. What did we figure out? 56. Shoot, we took it out of there. 56 something at Barcelona, which was then negated.
Oh, yeah.
56:42.
Yeah, we had to verify that it was the half marathon that was negated was at Barcelona.
Was faster, but not
by 40 seconds. Well, 30 seconds faster than what he just broke.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, nuts. More than a second faster per mile. But hey, let's get to the race that just boggles my mind. I don't know where I saw this first. Oh, I think it's when you texted.
Yeah.
You said...
Because they announced it before the actual race, and then people were up in arms. I'm looking at, my social media, and everyone's
dumb.
Everybody's debating it. One of my favorite debates is, I don't know why they give everybody a medal anyway. It's, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Whatever.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. It basically what happens is the LA Marathon had difficult weather conditions, temperatures in the low 80s, Santa Ana winds, humidity around
10%.
Is that right?
That must be a mistake. That doesn't seem right.
10%?
No.
Maybe you could check that. Low humidity sounds good. Oh, but it actually increases dehydration risk. So that does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Medical teams were concerned about heat illness later in the race. So what does any good race director do? They offer a drop-down solution to, at 18 miles, runners could stop, receive a medal, be officially listed as 18-mile finishers, but they would not receive a marathon time.
That's a very unique distance. Whenever you ever heard of an 18-mile race. And I want to add, what are they supposed to do with all those medals for people dropping? You may as well just, they already paid for them. Just give them to them. So you disagree with that, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's dumb. I think this is, and I said this before. So, number one, let's read. So, why mile 18? Yeah, why mile 18? This is where I was like,
fired up.
Are you serious? So, it says, why mile 18? Around mile 18 is where the marathon usually becomes most difficult. Yeah. Anybody that's ran a marathon will say, yep, 18 to 20 is when the race starts. It says it's where glycogen depletion begins, pacing mistakes appear, and overheating risk increases. So organizers created a safety exit point. And I said, yeah, you just stole the opportunity for these people to complete
suck it up.
A marathon. And the thing of it is, just like any race, you have to deal with the conditions. You can't go, it's going to be above 40 degrees. Well, I can't run that race because that's what I've trained for.
Well, that's just it. If you're running that whole way, I mean, not to support your argument, and they give you and you're having a bad day and they say, hey, here's a medal.
Yeah.
We'll give you a finish time. It won't be a marathon.
You give people an out and you feel like that, you're taking the out.
Right.
It just blows my mind that they thought this was a good idea. It made me, I texted you and said, those RDs, and
They're not runners.
I said, they're not runners. Because I cannot believe I shouldn't say that. They're probably not marathon runners.
In the world of litigation, though, I kind of understand trying to, I don't know, because everybody wants to sue everybody.
They do, but you sign basically your life away when you sign up for a race. I just couldn't believe it.
But we've said this before, like I didn't make this point. The race doesn't start until mile 18. Yeah. The last 8 miles to 10K that's the race.
I asked you.
That is the race. All you're doing is warming up for that last 6 miles.
100%. I asked you, you're getting ready to go to Alaska and do a race. You got 5 states, right? Mm-hmm. 5 states to get your 50 states. You've ran a marathon in 45. I said to you, well, what are you up to right now? Because you're struggling with some health things right now with the heart and the body and stuff like this. And I said, well, what are you up to right now? And you said 60 miles. And I said, psh, you got that. You can do this. It's no different. You got to slow down. You've got to do some different things.
Absolutely. I'll have to be smart. I'll be doing a run walk.
And so would they have.
And the old me, that makes me very unhappy. I want to be able to run it. But it's like, you know what? I have to take care of myself while I'm getting this goal. So, it's like I have to come to some realization. Like it's going to be a 6-hour marathon and I have to be okay with that. And there's some people that would, say that that's not racing or that's not running, but
yeah, whatever.
And you can have your opinion.
That's not right.
But I'm going to do what I have to do.
Lots of people do that.
There are. And
lots of people do that. And it's a major accomplishment when they cross the line. It's a major accomplishment when they cross the finish line at 6 hours because they've been out there for 6 hours.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I think it's incredible. And the thing of it is, think of this is 27,000 runners started the race. Do you know what I shouldn't say 27,000, but do you know what the people that completed their training did? A 16 to an 18 mile long run at least. They already did that.
Yeah.
They don't need an 18-mile finish. They want a 26.2-mile finish.
Yeah.
A marathon. And you just gave them an out.
If they just they should have took they needed to take a chunk of that metal for them, right,
a percentage of it out.
Throw it on the ground and then hand it to them. Does that seem too extreme? I don't know.
Let's get into some historical examples. I like this. We've seen this. Chicago. We know a couple of people that ran it. You said Rudy had to do what?
He had to break through the human chain so he could finish, basically. They were lining up people across the road.
Was that the one David did too?
No, Clint and Rudy, there was a whole group of them that went down there, but they were lining up across the road. And he was like, I think they were close to being done. And they're like, I'm crossing the finish line.
Yeah.
So
I think that's one they considered stopping mid-race.
Yeah. And they did stop it. Okay. And I think a lot of race closures and black flags have resulted because of that race.
Yeah.
Like it has written a lot of rule books on what's safe and what's not safe.
You said Rock and Roll Series has done some weird things in the past.
Yeah, Rock and Roll, I know I ran the country music marathon and they would bus people to the finish line that were just not going to make the cutoff. And it's like, I don't think I like that.
Yeah, especially if you're not doing things
but I don't know
enough. And you walk across.
I don't know enough about that. If they, it's like, they listed as a 26.2 mile finisher, but it was years ago. It was years ago.
Hopefully they've adjusted that. Little Rock, you have a story there.
They canceled it mid-race. They didn't. The cops thought it was canceled, and they, like David and I were coming close to finishing, and like the race is canceled. Like, what? I'm a mile from the finish line. And it was a big hubbub, and it was not canceled. Like there was some miscommunication.
Did you finish?
I did. I ran across the finish line, but the temperature dropped probably 40 degrees during that race.
This was for cold, essentially.
Yeah, like a storm was coming in. It was crazy. I remember I had arm warmers on. I had to pull them over my hands because my hands were so cold. And David didn't do that. I'm trying to show him that. And he went to get water at one point, and he went to grab a hold of it and it just fell out of his hand because he couldn't close his hand. So he's grabbing with both hands with that cup and trying to get a drink. Yeah. Like it was miserable.
I've had both of those at Boston, and that's one of my examples was in 2012 running Boston. It was famously hot, as they put it, with temperatures reaching 87 to 89 degrees in the afternoon. The race started at 75 degrees for the elite women, which is before the general corrals start, due to the extreme conditions, thousands of runners. I don't know if this is. I would like to look up this. Says thousands of runners dropped out. Well, I suppose they did drop out. This was the one year Boston said, we will give you an entry into next year if you opt out. And Boston never does that, right? So they did allow that. I did that race. That was my second marathon, I think. I think I did Kalamazoo.
It was miserable.
No, it couldn't have been. It had to have been my third. But it doesn't matter. It was very early on. And I thought, I know I've trained for like 50 degrees, but 80 at the start, I can do this. And it was basically a slugfest walk in from the halfway. But you know what? You know what I did? I finished. I sucked it up. I had heat cramps. I had it was horrible. It was miserable. But you know what? I finished.
Maybe that leads into runners are dumb, and sometimes they have to help them think. I don't know. We do dumb stuff. Like when you're in the heat of it, you do some dumb stuff sometimes. You're not thinking clearly.
I get it. I just think, what have we come to? That we say, yeah, if you want to stop, you can stop. We'll give you a medal. What? I just don't understand that. I get it. It's not going to give you a results, but still, you're giving people an out in something that's really hard to do. And if you offer it, they're going to take it.
It's hard to do on a good day. I agree. Yeah. Like, that's
it's just the stories. They do not have that story now. They do not have the memory of they crashed and had to walk in for 6 miles.
I want to know if any listeners have anybody that ran the LA Marathon and took the out.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do. I don't know if I could.
I'd feel bad for them because the opportunity to finish was stolen by stuff. When you have outs, like let's say, so for the California Fall Classic 100K, the reason I dropped out was because my crew was that not your fault. I had an option to get out. That's why I didn't make it to the finish.
I have to work on my tough love more for next time.
I'm just saying, like you give an option, and when you're in down spirits, and that's what happens.
I should have told you the car is a 5-mile walk from here. It's a long ways.
You got to walk to the next aid station. And we'll get you there.
Yeah. Like
that's it. Yeah.
Like it's probably closer to, I have to just, because you're not thinking straight anyway.
You are not thinking straight.
So I'll just lie to you.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
We got this.
Okay, let's get into the good. Well, some of the good, some of the not so good of the LA Marathon. What happened?
Yeah.
Man, this is just a bummer. Again, and I will say this, I do not think this is the race's fault. This section, this part, is not the race's fault. Basically, the leader had does this say what the lead was? I watched this.
Yeah.
And I've watched a lot of
well, I don't know if anybody saw the video if you got to watch the end of that race. The elite finish is so exciting.
It is.
And you watch this and you see someone coming from a long ways away and making up that gap and hitting the tape it was a photo finish. Like they didn't know who won at first. It was that close.
I got
home. And it's very dramatic. And he falls across the finish line and the other guy, and they're whooping it up.
Nathan Martin won the race by 0.01 seconds. They essentially have the same finishing time.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is, but wherever it's at, it's basically the same. Here's the thing. Michael Kamau, I think that's right, was leading late in the race. And when I mean late, he was entering the finish chute, which it's still long. It's not like it's short, it's no longer people on the sides, which means the vehicles have to get off. They have to exit because they're not going through the entire chute. One motorcycle would lead them through the entire chute, right? So it's the rails, it's people behind rails, that kind of a thing. He was entering that. And I will say initially, my first view of the finish of the LA Marathon was your view, what you just talked about. It was this high overhead leading into the finish. It was like a drone shot. And this Nathan Martin who's coming from behind, man, I feel like he was more than 100 yards behind, and he made up that 100 yards on
that dude was bucking,
smoking, and Kamau,
and he actually had a negative split. Like he was legit.
Oh yeah,
so
which makes sense. Kamau was not. He was struggling, and come to find out, he's dehydrated. Yeah, I mean, he essentially would have timed it just fine.
His debut marathon.
Oh, really?
I read something like that.
I didn't see that. So anyway, near the finish, The lead motorcycle, well, I shouldn't see now this says the lead motorcycle made a wrong turn. I don't think he did. The lead motorcycle stayed going straight. Like if you watch, there is a video a guy was taking from the sidelines, and there was a lady that jumped in and was running next to Kamau, waving I think it was the Kenyan flag, because I think that's where he's from. And she literally like messed things up, and he like dipped around her to try to follow the lead convoy. But the convoy was actually doing what it was supposed to do: exit the race at that stage.
Okay.
And I even saw a comment from the RDs, or the board of the LA Marathon, and they said, we have a meeting with all elites, and we explained very clearly this is going to happen with however many meters are left. That's where the convoy gets off. They have to get off somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's where they were getting off. And you watch it, and there is a motorcycle that stays going straight, and they actually stop because they see him take the right. Then there's a bicyclist that's also, I think the bicyclist was part of the race. He stopped, and he's like, no. And they stopped him, and they say, I actually watched a video that did a pretty cool, like little step-by-step, second-by-second, and I think he said 8 seconds, roughly, is what this guy lost. Probably a little, could be a little more, who knows, right?
But do you think that Nathan Martin would have put in that big of a kick?
So here's the thing. Here's what I'm thinking. Because I when I saw all this, I started talking to Nicole. I'm like, oh my goodness, can you believe this happened? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, at that stage of the race, that little thing could have sent an adrenaline kick to Kamau, because different things happen, right? And he's like, oh, and he gets this adrenaline, and that close to the finish, maybe it helped him. I'm not saying I should be careful. I don't want people jumping on and be like, whatever, it didn't help him. I'm just saying, who knows? We won't know what the race could have unfolded like, because somebody got a little too excited, jumped into the race, and waving a flag, messed up the lead runner, who is almost 26 miles in, not thinking right. It's his first time, apparently. And it's like, dang it.
Yeah. Well, what did he learn?
I don't. You might want to give it a few days.
Well, it's been a few days. I'll give him a call.
Yeah, and it's a bummer for Nathan Martin, even, who won it, because maybe he would have.
He ran a good race.
Yeah,
because they said, and he is. I think he's an elite American.
Yeah,
a high school coach in Michigan.
He's actually the first Black American to win the LA Marathon, I believe. I think I saw that.
Yeah, it's not in our notes, but I know we had a bunch of different stuff.
I saw that I think on this other guy's channel. There was, because there have been first Black American born person to win that marathon. There have been other Americans, but they weren't American born.
Okay.
To win it. But at any rate, it's a bummer for him too, because now here's this like controversy around him winning it. That dude closed that gap. It is,
man.
If for those listening, if you have not seen this, go look up the finish of the LA Marathon. It is insane how much distance that he makes up. And yeah, I don't know if he could have caught him if things had not happened like that, because in all honesty, it probably did not help Kamau. It probably, I don't think it gave him enough adrenaline. I was thinking maybe it offset the 8 seconds he lost. You get that adrenaline kick. I got to get going. Maybe it offset it.
You look at him, he's
dying.
He's in rough shape.
Yeah, he did not do well in the last however long that was. At any rate, it's a real bummer. So for both of those finishers, I would say both did amazing. Obviously, they won LA, or first and second LA Marathon. Congrats to them both. Congrats to Martin, who did win it. I think it's still amazing. There's about a $15,000 price difference, or prize difference between first and second. So that's a bummer. That's a lot. But I will say, I don't think this is LA Marathon's fault.
No.
Part, when you see that person's video that from the sideline and see how it all goes down,
I think that clears up a lot more.
Yeah.
At least talking through that, like, yeah, it's a bummer, but it's not the same as a couple weeks ago, the USATF.
Yeah.
It was in...
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah. Atlanta Track Club was the host or whatever. Yeah, very different there. I think that was, well, I can't say that was the race. I think that race did what they could do to rectify that situation as much as they possibly could. But this, and when you watch the video, I don't think this has, I will say that, I'll add this. So what the race could do better. One other thing I saw in this other video was that, some of the other marathons, and I've seen this at even American marathons, but some of the ones in Europe have the 3 blue line dash on the course. LA doesn't have that. So had they done the stripes, maybe he would have saw it and followed the stripes straight instead of taking the right.
But that distraction.
There was a major distraction. Very true. So, bummer.
It goes along the rule. Like it's up to the runner.
It is.
To know the course.
It is.
And I think that falls in more than the police leading, them off course.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? I just want to put this one out there. The lead vehicle thing, whatever. If you guys want to comment on it. The race day chaos, comment, whatever you want. Final sprint, comment. But the one I want to know about, the 18-mile question, does stopping at 18 count as finishing the LA Marathon? I know some people will say, well, if the race says wear an orange hat, you can wear an orange hat. And I am 100% on board. I just think it's a terrible decision by the RDs, the lead board of the LA Marathon. Let me know if you agree with that.
Yeah.
Got anything else on that?
No. I wanted to add more fuel to the fire to get you fired up again. But
I don't think you need to, man. I have had this week, that alone, every time you brought it up, I will say, like, I'm not mad. I'm just really disappointed in where we're at for endurance sports that we think we got to give outs.
Yeah, the big thing for me has been the last few weeks, there's been a little bit of chaos. I'm just curious.
You know what fixes it? More rules.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what do we do about that? Like, and again, this is affecting the elites. It's not affecting the common guy. But it seems like we have all these rules out there, and it's like it's not this one is questionable. It's not necessarily, it wasn't the race, but stuff happens where the runners pay.
Yeah. The thing is, I know that there's going to be people that say there's a safety to it. Well, there's a safety to doing the distance. Yeah. Like, how about we just take responsibility for our own actions?
Yeah.
Go out there and do it and quit.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that happens out there that you hear horror stories all the time. They didn't know they had a health issue and somebody has a heart attack out there. Yeah, their arteries were clogged. They were fine and it showed up on race day.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? That's just an act of God at that point.
Yeah, it's how do you possibly put enough things into place to cover every single scenario?
I think it's important to have a medical team that's ready to go. That's the best you can do.
We talked to Terrence.
But beyond that, people can sign up. Do you have to get a medical test before you sign up for a race? What's next?
No.
But you can't sign this until it's on you. It's still on you.
It is 100%. Well, let us know what you think in the comments. I think you can see at least where I stand. I think it's ridiculous, but
you're the bad guy this time.
I just don't like it. I don't like giving it out like that. But at any rate, let us know in the comments what you think. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube, all those different listening platforms. That is going to wrap up this episode of the I Don't Know Running podcast. Be sure to tune in next time as we share more about what we just don't know.
Until then, happy running.